to you by Matthewson Mini Helmets. Matthewson Mini Helmets. Free helmet mock-ups. No minimum requirements. They have stripes, pride stickers, numbers, and chrome decals available. Customized memorabilia for you and your community. Reach them by phone at 816-642-8817 or on Twitter at MMHelmets. Matthewson Mini Helmets. For all things mini helmet. All right, guys, welcome into the Northwest Georgia High School Football Scoreboard. It's just me currently. I am going through all the scores. I think I've got every score already ready to go. And I'll scroll across the ticker. I was at the Chattooga-Dade County game. Dade County pretty much led that game throughout. It was after a couple quarters, it was kind of a no contest. Dade pulls away and wins 33-7. A big win for Dade in their region. Dade is looking like definitely a playoff team, and they got some big games coming up. Whether or not they're going to be the 3 seed or the 4 seed kind of determines on how the rest of their season goes. Join me on the comments page, and we'll hey, there's one right there. How about them Nears? Yeah, big win on the road tonight. Huge win, kind of jumbles that region up a little bit more. We'll go ahead and jump into the scoreboard here. Carrollton was on the road at Westlake and come home with a 28-19 victory. North Paulding is a winner over McEachern in a big-time battle, 14-7. Rome big over River Ridge, 56-7. Paulding County with a 44-12 win over New Manchester. South Paulding, in what was a close game for a while, wins 56-35 over Alexander. It was 35-35 for some time. Calhoun gets a win over Dalton, 28-13. Cartersville at home gets a win over Woodland, 31-6. Big game here between Hiram and Cass. Cass gets a victory. Shout out to the Cass Colonels, 26-21 over a pretty hot Hiram team lately. Creekside gets it done on the road at Villa Rica, 64-0. Cedartown, 48-0 over Sonoraville. Cedartown just keeps on rolling, and they show their dominance again tonight. Big one here in 3A, Heritage with a 40-36 win over Northwest Whitfield. Central played last night, but they did get a 51-6 victory over Southeast Whitfield. Dawson County pulls out a 17-7 win over Gilmer. Pickens 29, West Hall 7. Pickens is back to their winning ways. Another one that was close for a while, Adairsville 42, Gordon Lee 28. I think it was knotted up for a while, and Adairsville pulled away late. Ringo with a big win at Ridgeland, 42-14. Coahulla Creek at home, 14-10 over Bremen. Big win for the Creek. Again, another game from last night. Lafayette 30, LFO 14. Another game from last night. Rockmart with a 63-0 victory over Gordon Central. Just like we just saw here, how about those Nears? North Murray 35, Model 28, and that was at Model. Big time 7AA win. Fannin on the road at Murray County with a 49-6 win. Last night, Heard County went to Mount Zion and got a 28-10 victory. Christian Heritage was on the road at Asheville Christian in North Carolina, got a 56-6 win. Down in 1A, Darlington 7-1A. Darlington with a 45-7 win at Armurchie. Tryon went to Pepperell and got a 42-14 win. at Pepperell. And Dade County, like I said earlier, got a 33-7 win over Chattooga. Pretty much in that region there, it reads off. Looks like Darlington Trine for the 1 and 2 spots. And I would say the Dade Pepperell game, I believe it's at the end of the year, unless Coosa can throw a wrench in there, would be for your 3 and 4 spots in that region. Everybody saw our new sponsor. If you do decide to order a mini helmet or a bunch of mini helmets or whatever, let them know you heard about them through Northwest Georgia Football. And we're happy to have them on board. And hopefully there'll be some more people to join me so I don't have to go at this solo all night. Anybody want to comment, and we'll get your comment on the page. Like we've said, getting closer to playoff time, and I can pull up some more standings here, and we can look at some of the regions. But big win tonight for Fannin, big win for North Murray, and Cedartown. Just bringing up Cedartown, big time 40. There we go. There's a Cedartown had 494 total offense. Norville had 109. I've talked with a few of my friends earlier tonight, and we don't know. Is there a team out there that can slow this Cedartown team down? In that division, I'm not sure there's but a handful that can even hang around with them. I'm interested to see the playoff matchups when Cedartown gets there and see how that goes. Watching them make a run. Toledo 76 says, "Go Tigers." Which Tigers we talking about? We got the Ringo Tigers. We got the Adairsville Tigers. We got a few. Let us know which Tigers we're giving the shout out to. Like I said, the scores are coming across the bottom. And let's see here. Big time. Coahulla Creek secured first ever playoff spot, school history. That's awesome. It's been coming, and we've talked about that the last couple of years. We thought they could sneak in there last year, and the creek is rising. I know people say that a lot, but that's a true statement. And let's pull up that region and see what it looks like the rest of the way for Coahulla Creek. Here we go. Adairsville is who he was pulling for. So tell us about that game. I know it was for a while, and then it seemed like Adairsville pulled away there. All right, let's pull up here. Michael Kevin says, might be time to start considering Toby Maddox for 7A Division I Player of the Year. What I didn't see. I know they scored 42 points. What kind of performance did Toby have tonight? I'm not sure what. I'm not exactly sure how his season's been going. I know he's been having a good season, but he had big numbers tonight. I couldn't agree more. I think they've been on a mission, and that's been fuel that has fueled everybody. Yeah, he's been a dominant force. I agree. I think just rolling up the points, and I think they're going to keep going. I think just looking at their schedule, I think they're going to keep going. Jumping back on Coahulla Creek's schedule, they have Lafayette next week, which, Lafayette scored 30 this week on LFO, but I see that as a pretty close game, a winnable game. Then the last game of the year on the road at Adairsville, and that's going to be a huge one there. That's going to be big. I would probably favor Adairsville at this point, but you never know. And if they could get that win coupled with a Ringo win or a Ringo loss, that would put them at home field, so they can still get to the home field. But very interesting. Oh, I'll give a shout out to Coach Poston in Dade County. They played a good game tonight. Running game looked good. They threw the ball well. I think I remember a long touchdown pass. They did have a few penalties, and I'm sure it's a couple of them. I'm not one to get on the referees, but are questionable, and it kind of went both ways. So, Benny, yeah, taking a beating, but hey, you judge them when they're down. So, they kept fighting. They ended up scoring some points late in the game. So let's see here. It says Gordon Lee played a great game tonight. Tiger was not as sharp as they have been. A couple of turnovers, very physical. Yeah, that Gordon Lee team has improved as the season went on. I'll be honest with you. In the spring, I kind of doubted they were going to compete very well, and man, they've grown as the season went on, and they've got a lot better. And obviously, showing by challenging Adairsville for a good bit of the game. Maybe we'll have Chris come on here in a little bit and talk about the North Murray game. I know he's excited. I think it's the first time this year that he picked against North Murray. I think he picked Model. I don't want to upset all the North Murray folks, but maybe he needs to pick the opposite team, and so you can get the quote unquote upset. That one that was a huge win for the Mountaineers. Yeah, the lone wolf. The lone wolf. Everybody else is either working. I think Lawrence is doing his real job, and everybody else is traveling. So they'll be in before too long, hopefully. What we got here? Ethan Bloom went over 1,000 yards rushing. The kid from Gordon Lee went over 1,000 yards. Anytime in high school you go over 1,000 yards, that's big. Oh boy. I'll have to show Chris this one later. I like it. Yeah. Oh, he didn't. Oh, he didn't make that pick with his heart. I promise you, his heart was saying North Murray all night. He didn't make that pick with his heart. Tell me a little bit about that game. I know he's probably going to come on here later, but were you at that game? And tell me a little bit about it. How did that Model and North Murray game go? Wow, 200 plus and 3 touchdowns. Big time. It's getting it done. Anytime you go to Pepperell and put 42 on the board and come away with a win, that's big. Yes, sir, Tim. Tim Towle. He did pick North Murray. I will back him up. He picked North Murray. He thought that offense would prevail, and it seems like they did. It seems like the defense played better as well. Oh, Tennessee loses with an Alabama hangover to T. Martin. No, I don't think so. I don't believe so there, Benny. I will say this, though. I think that the Tennessee win over Alabama may favor Georgia better than it does Tennessee because they still got to play Georgia. Now, they're liable to go to Athens and beat them. Not saying they won't. But that pretty much means if Georgia can win the SEC championship game, then Alabama is probably out of the top 4, and they wouldn't have to see them again. So thank you, Tennessee, I guess. Chad Wheat says, Model hurt themselves all night. Northbury ran the ball very well. Shout out to Coach Joey King at Carrollton, 21-2 in his first 2 years at Carrollton. His record as a head coach, 88-6, 67-4 at Cartersville. Man, I'll tell you what, he's got a good program, and Carrollton's loaded with athletes. You talking about better hope that Georgia has the same refs as Tennessee did? Is that what you're saying there? I think we'll just stick with the Georgia defensive backs and try not to let them run wide open 6 catches for 200 million yards and 5 touchdowns. Anyway, I didn't say that. That's going to get me in trouble there. All right, back to high school football. If you missed us in the start, I'll tell you what, let me pull this over, and if anybody's looking, we can give them a view of what I'm looking at here. There we go. Here's some scores for you. It didn't work out too well. Not yet, at least. All righty. Let's see here. I'm going to pull the region standings up. All righty, looking at this region. tonight. Uh, if it was homecoming or senior night, I believe it was senior night at Chattooga tonight. Not very many seniors on that team. Hopefully a brighter future with all the freshmen and sophomore that are playing. I believe one of the leading tacklers for Chattooga is the freshman safety. He's a good player. Aaron, if you're still watching, you want to jump on and tell us how your boys are doing this week. The real local Northeast Alabama scores. I'm not sure how Gainesville, Valley Head, any of those teams did tonight. Yep. I don't disagree with you. Any as far as surprises tonight, I'll look and see what the biggest upset of the night is. I'm gonna say it's probably the North Murray win over Model. We'll go back and look at the game by game here. So these were these projections coming in. Let's see. Carrollton won. North Paulding actually won 14-7, and they were a 10-point dog. So that's a good upset win. Let's see. Cass won, and they were 2-point dogs. So that's a good upset win. Northwest was a 7.5-point favorite over Heritage, and Northwest won that game. So that's another upset win. Favored. Yeah, I think Model's going to be the biggest upset. They were a 17-point favorite at home over North Murray, and North Murray comes away with a 35-28 victory, and everything else was pretty much how it should go. All righty. And 25 minutes in, I've got no help. So if anybody wants to talk about anything, I've already went over the scores twice. The scores are also scrolling on the bottom of your screen. Let's see here. I don't see anything as far as the comments rolling in. Like I said earlier, we have a new sponsor that's come on, Matthewson Mini Helmets. This is their page here. It is a athletic director and head coach. He doesn't even live around here, actually, but we've been in contact with him. He does some great stuff. I'll show you a couple of their mock-ups. Just call him or get a hold of him on Twitter, and they'll do a free mock-up if you want helmets for your rec league team, your high school team. If you want to give it for like an end of the year celebration, if you order more, I'm sure he'll give you a bulk discount of some kind. They can do just about anything. You put your name on it, put logos on it. Obviously stripes, decals, numbers. I've even seen a couple helmets that have like class of 2023 or 2024, whatever on there. Some good guys are doing a good thing. So one big thing is no minimum requirement. So you can order one if you want it. said he told a lot of people that he thought that Heritage was going to beat Northwest. Yeah, it was a close game. I don't know how it actually unfolded, but I know that Heritage got the win and the upset special. Yep. Let's see. Let's talk about some of the other regions here. I've already talked about the 1A region, 6 AAA. Let's see if we can look at the 7 AA region. Made it a little more muddy tonight with the North Murray victory over Model. Tiebreakers are different for each region, so they don't like to announce that sort of thing. You kind of have to dig it and find it. Jake Killer. Carrollton, very sloppy game, but pulled it out. Visitor stands were full. Region champs. Yeah, I kind of figured that Westlake would hang in there a little bit. It's not a terrible team, but you say that Carrollton played sloppy. Carrollton has one of the best quarterbacks that I've seen around here, and this guy, he can't be no older than 16. He's a freshman. I mean, I don't want to king him or nothing, but he looks pretty good, and he's got 3 more years of eligibility in high school left, so it's going to be a good player, and they're going to be good for the next couple of years. And don't get me wrong, he's not the only thing they have. They have a good offensive line, some big guys up there, and some receivers and running backs to go with him. And I always say, you see a big-time offensive line when they all got their knees, they got the knee buckles on and all that. I don't know if there was a guy in that game I watched tonight that was big enough to have those on. I know Chattooga doesn't have very many with size that would even warrant putting that on their knees. Let's pull up let's see, Rockmart currently leads the region, and this is 7 2A. They currently lead the region with 4 wins. Easier for the playoffs. Play Fort Payne coming up. I'm not sure what kind of season Fort Payne had, but I seen them earlier in the year, and they could put up some points, and they had a pretty decent defense. Jake Killer, Juju, 3 picks, 2 missed field goals, but Hicks had 3 rushing touchdowns, got up 21-7 and held it. 3 picks. Is that just him trying to fit the ball into small places, or is it, jump balls that are being intercepted, good plays by the defense, or just boneheaded stuff? Fort Payne lost to Athens tonight. All righty. Let's move on up to a little bit a bigger class here. Let's go to that 4A class. In 4A, I mean, we kind of talked about it. Cedartown kind of rules the roost right now. One pick went through receiver's hands. It was a pick six. Two he forced while under pressure. I got you. Cedartown with a big win tonight over the Phoenix from Sonoraville. And it seems like they just keep rolling up the big wins. We'll throw their region standing. Lawrence is the resident mathematician. Can you hear me now, guys? Sorry. He's the resident mathematician, and he does all that figuring out who's going to do what, and I'm sure he's digging into the which I am as well, digging into what each scenario is. Sorry about that. It's supposed to, when I take myself off the screen, it's supposed to still work, but anyway. Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying as I was going through the screen. That the last game of the year at Darlington will be for that region championship. Sorry if I'm rambling, but like I said, hosting it by myself If you got anything you want to talk about, anybody you want to give a shout out to, any questions you want to ask, we can move on to the next division here, get a little bigger region. Let's go up here to see the Calhoun region are up there in 5A. Dalton takes the loss tonight to Calhoun. Calhoun sitting at 3-1. Cartersville at 3-1 in the region. That is. Cartersville wins tonight over Woodland. Cartersville has Dalton remaining, and it could be a good game. I would imagine that Cartersville wins that one and moves up the box a little bit. And this thing is, with Cass beating Hiram tonight, this thing is still kind of wide open. You would just think that Calhoun and Cartersville would find a way to get up there near the top, but if you're in an opposing region and you catch and somehow they end up 3 or 4 and you catch one of those teams, that's not going to be good. I'm not sure if they're as dominant as the quote unquote normal Cartersville or Calhoun, but I guarantee you're not going to get a win against them without a fight. Where is Ringo sitting? Ringo looks pretty good. Let's see if I can find that region. Ringo they've had a couple big wins. I know they were setting at least 2 in that region for a while. Kevin. Currently, they're 4-1 in the region. Adairsville is the undefeated team in the region right now. And Ringo has two games left. And those 2 games are against Lakeview and Gordon Lee, which I would consider winnable. So it's a very good chance that Ringo will be your 2 seed as long as Adairsville doesn't slip. I think they'd have to slip twice. And with Adairsville's schedule remaining looking like Bremen and Kahula Creek, I think Adairsville is your 1. I think Ringo probably your 2. And then looks like Bremen, Kahula Creek, Gordon Lee fighting for your 3-4 spot in that particular region. Yeah, they have a few running backs at Ringo there. I think they have I'm not sure if he's a senior, but I know he's a veteran guy that gets a lot of carries as well. I have seen the guy you're talking about, Haddon Fries. Yeah, he's a freshman. He's about 5'6", about 180 pounds. Tough to bring down, kind of like a bowling ball. They also have, he is a senior, Peyton Williams, which is about 6 foot, 195. So he's a tough one to bring down. And, that's a 1-2 combo. And then, the quarterback is pretty good. And then, in the spring, I saw a couple guys that were making plays out there for him that me and, Lawrence were both impressed with. I'm trying to think of the one guy's name. Anyway, they had some pretty good players, and I think they're talented enough to get that 2 seed. I haven't looked at the matchups, like what could be matched up against. I know a couple of our local regions have some very difficult regions that they would play in the playoffs. Let's see if I can find any of that information. Yeah, so in that particular region, they would be playing against the likes of Monroe area, Douglas, Carver, Atlanta, Sandy Creek, I think Cedar Grove's in that region. Yeah, Monroe area it would be against the Gilmer region. So it'd be Douglas, Carver, Atlanta, Sandy Creek, and Cedar Grove, which is some of the top teams. I know Cedar Grove and Sandy Creek are going to be some of the top teams in the state of Georgia in that classification. So you definitely want to be high. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that Monroe area is a pretty good team, and you'd not want to face those guys. Alrighty. I'm going to run back through the scores, and if nobody shows up or nobody has anything to talk about, then we'll probably close her down for tonight. It's getting late. Deer season starts tomorrow, and I haven't decided if I'm going to the field or the golf course. One of the two. All right. You see the scores on the bottom, but I'm going to read them off again. Carrollton with a 28-19 win over Westlake. North Paulding 14, McEachern 7. Rome rolls again 56-7 over River Ridge. Paulding County with a 44-12 win over New Manchester. South Paulding beats Alexander 56-35. Calhoun 28, Dalton 13. Cartersville 31, Woodland 6. Cass 26, Hiram 21. Creekside beats Villa Rica 64-0. Cedartown beats Sonoraville 48-0. Heritage beats Northwest Whitfield 40-36. Central beats Southeast 51-6. Dawson County beats Gilmer 17-7. Pickens County gets the win at West Hall 29-7. Adairsville pulls away late and beats Gordon Lee 42-28. Ringo 42, Ridgeland 14. Kahula Creek clinches their first ever playoff appearance, and they beat Bremen 14-10. Lafayette 30, LFO 14. Rockmart continues to roll 63-0 over Gordon Central. North Murray with the upset special of the week beats Model, which was a 17-point favorite, 35-28 North Murray at Model. So that's a big win. And like I said, further muddies up Region 7 2A. Fannin County, which is also in that same region, at Murray County, 49-6. Fannin gets a win there. Heard County was at Mount Zion. They won 28-10. Christian Heritage 56. Asheville Christian of North Carolina 6. Darlington beats Armurchie 45-7. Tryon 42. Pepperell 14. And Dade County beats Chattooga on senior night 33-7. All right, guys. Hopefully we'll have some more guys next week, and maybe I didn't ramble too bad. Try to get the scores out to you, and we appreciate everybody joining us, and we appreciate the people who follow us. We'll be back Wednesday for our normal Pick'em show, and I'll throw this in there too. We're probably going to do a similar type show for basketball when basketball season starts. It may be on Wednesday nights. I would say probably Wednesday nights at 7. But we're going to start talking about Northwest Georgia basketball and bringing it along and trying to pump it up like Northwest Georgia football has. And we appreciate all the followers. A couple of weeks ago, we went over 20,000 followers on Twitter at Northwest Georgia football. Thanks to Lawrence and all the guys that just put their time and effort in, and it's all pro bono. So there's no getting paid here. We'll see you Wednesday, and thanks for joining us.